This is Find Your Flow, a show about navigating the complexities of life and business through the lens of curiosity. I'm your host, Angelique, and I bring together experts to deliver responsibly curated conversations and perspectives that aim to progress people and the planet. So as we know, Find Your Flow was created on the basis of exploring perspectives and self-development practices that aim to progress people and our planet. And part of that initiative includes the focus of one's connection to purpose and how we can serve others and our global community. Today's episode will aim to do just that and more. On a deeper level, we hope to amplify Ukrainian voices in need of our support. As we know, on the 24th of February, 2002, Russia invaded Ukraine in an escalation of the Russo-Ukrainian War, which began in 2014. For the past 600 days, life in Ukraine has been turned upside down. The focus for this interview is less about politics, as it is about the people and those that are impacted. And that in a world that often finds itself grappling with the horrors of conflict, there are those who stand as beacons of compassion and hope, offering solace and support to those in the throes of adversity. Today, I have the privilege of diving into the heart of one such endeavor, a Ukrainian Humanitarian Aid Foundation that has been tirelessly working to alleviate the suffering of war-stricken communities. The Folkowisko Foundation was started as a means to provide humanitarian aid to those war-stricken Ukrainian communities. And joining me today, and you will also get to see that I need to practice my Ukrainian, Vice President of the Folkowisko Foundation, Volodymyr, and I will have him pronounce his name as we go live here. He is somebody that I had the good fortune of meeting and working alongside during my time in Poland this summer through the Teaching English in Poland program with the Kosciuszko Foundation. We had the honor of working with Ukrainian children, hosting activities focused on connection and mindfulness. So Volodymyr, please tell us more, introduce yourself. Tell us more about your story. You are an attorney. You are a builder of communities. I mean, there's so much in what you're doing right now. So tell us more about yourself and how you got started.
Hello, everybody. Hello, world. Yes, my name is Volodymyr Mykhalyshyn. I know that it's hard to pronounce for people citizens from US. So, but a couple words about me. I was born in a border close to the Poland, so I have experience of Polish language. It was not my native language, but it was much more interesting than to study Russia. And my native language is Ukraine, so I'm Ukrainian speaking guy. From my childhood until now, I'm 37 years old. Really soon I will have the birthday, 38. Yeah, I have a lot of life experience. So it was start from the DJ on the radio and actor in the theater. After that, I was boss of security department in hotel of Ramada. I have experience in different political events. So I organize also the parties for companies, which helped me now, those experience which I have lot years ago, to organize the event which help the people of Ukraine to fighting against the evil which called Russia.
Mm-hmm. So you're a specialist in these team building activities, and all of these experiences that you've had throughout your life has really helped you cultivate these experiences with the Folkowisko Foundation. Tell us more about the foundation and how it serves the needs of the people of Ukraine.
So the idea of helping the people was created by the Marcin Piotrowski, who was the founder of Folkowisko Foundation a lot of years ago. He organized a festival of Polish culture. It was folk festival with the rock music inside, and they create a lot of cultural tradition which collect not only the Polish but Ukrainian and other cultures of the world. So they do that 13 years in a row. On the 14 years, it happened that the Russia captured more territory from Ukraine because war started from 2014, but most of aggression are coming in 2022. So the Folkowisko have the experience only organize the festival. In the moment when the war was started, they also think that they will be useful on the border of the Polish and Ukrainian the crossing, and they come to bring some food and warm clothes. Yes, and they saw that not hundreds, just 1,000 people waiting on the border cross. It was families with little children. It was almost the middle of the winter, and everybody don't have the opportunity to bring with them not only food, just warm clothes, because if they escape from the house, when the bombing starting, they just take what they can. That not often it was the passport in the hand, and they come to Lviv, and from Lviv come to the boarding crosser to cross the border to find more safety place. So in the beginning of the war for the Folkowisko, it was the festival. The rescue mission, it was the festival. The same experience, they use it to build the food carts, to build the safety place, warm place where the people can find the place where they can just warming up. But the main things which wasn't on the festival as usual, it was the festival without music. It was the festival of tears, the festival of broken hopes, and it was the festival of screaming, the soul screaming of not adults. It was the festival of screaming of children's souls, because they don't understand why they run away from the war, leave those houses, those beds, and just must go somewhere. So the Folkowisko Foundation, it was the pioneers which was on the border, not only in the Budomierz-Hrushev crossing place, but on 3 borders which are close.
So it sounds like the foundation looked at opportunity, and they started as a music festival, but when the war broke out, they saw opportunity for how they can use what they've learned, the model of what they've learned, and really jump into the action of helping people across the border. So what it sounds like is, as people were looking to escape and leave Ukraine for safety, Folkowisko jumped into action to provide aid in many different ways. So you and I had met in Baszna Dolna in Poland. We had about 30 of the Ukrainian students that we had worked with, and the program that you had worked with them there was very much about community building exercises, and it was about mindfulness. So what are some of the other programs that the Folkowisko Foundation has put into place since the beginning of the war?
So from the beginning of the war, the Folkowisko trying to find the ways how they can help the Ukrainian citizens, the refugees and IDP person, which was internally displaced from those native houses. And at the beginning of the war, it was the bringing of 1,000 tons of donation, which coming from the Europe directly to the Poland, because it was some kind of bridge which connect Ukraine and Poland. And it was a lot of helps which coming without non-stopping proceeds. It was not the end of those help. So the lorries come every couple minutes the huge donation and goods, warm clothes, food, medicine come without non-stopping, just for a couple, 7, 8, 9 months without non-stopping. But after that, we start to feel that the world, the European Union, started to be how you can pronounce in English way that you have tired. You start to be tired. And it's the same like you start to running and you run 1, 2, 3, 10, 15 kilometers. And after that, you understanding that you are tired.
Tired. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Tired. And after 1 year of the humanitarian mission of Folkowisko, it's not only the Folkowisko, it's about every NGOs who help Ukraine from the Polish and other European countries start to feel that they get less and less help of donators.
Okay.
Different kind of. So the Folkowisko, and we are understanding that we keep helping the Ukraine in different ways. And one of the way it was to create the new product, create the new mission, which will help to keep safe the people. And it's not safe just the some security idea or keep them in the warm places. It's also about the education. We have projects which educate the psychological and social worker, and also the camps which learn our children of English language. We have the rehabilitation camp, and we use our skills, which we have before the war, to organize the projects, events, the trainings and lessons which help to learn, sometimes train the trainers of Ukraine. Some kinds is to make the resilience, psychological resilience for children and adults, and sometimes to show them they are not alone. As I'm the Ukrainian, I must to do that non-stopping, like immortal unicorn, to help my citizen, my nation, my country to do that. But the Polish people volunteer, they have own country, but they still do the same work like I do, and my friends from Ukraine and my families and all my relatives and everybody who I know, who organized the events, who was the actor in the theater or drivers, which I meet on the BlaBlaCar. Yes, everybody tried to help. Not so often. It's not 7 days per week and 24 hours per day, but still they bring some help and call and bring some goods. And it's helped when we organize different of projects, especially those psychological or educational projects in Poland or in Ukraine.
So there's a lot unpacking there as well, because, this has been going on for a lot of time, and it sounds like there was a lot of support up front. Things may have gotten tired or fatigued as far as some of the support that you had seen initially. And so some of that support may have shifted in how it showed up, but you're still finding that the people of Poland, the people across the Europe and across America, I hope, are coming in to support and help. But one of the things that I really connected with, and as you mentioned with the foundation in the festival, is that it was a festival around the voices of the children. And so there's a lot of connection to the education and the psychological programming that you're providing aid for children right now as well. So that is a perspective that I think is, something that we're not getting, at least in America, we're not getting that perspective than it is to talk to somebody and actually, understand more about what they're seeing when they work with the kids, because it's one thing to hear it on the news. It's another thing to live it and see it and breathe it. And, one of the experiences the small example that I have is with the children that we had worked with in Ukraine, the Ukrainian children, they're like, this is my dog from home and this is my house. And then here's my shelter. And that's, something that is such a heavy weight for a child to carry around. And one thing we had noticed also was that, every single day, some of the projects that we would work on is they're living and breathing this. This is something that's coming out in everything that they're talking about, the stories that they're talking about. But then also, one thing that was beautiful that we saw was, every day they were singing the Ukrainian anthem. They're singing the songs of the country. The spirit of Ukraine was in them. And I want to hear more about some of the work that you've done on the mental health and the psychological programming. From what I hear this week, in fact, you'll be going into a training that you'll be doing with some of students and their families, even moms and dads. So tell us more about what those types of trainings look like and maybe the impact of some of those.
First of all, I want to ask you about the favor.
Yes.
If you, when you saw that video, try to close your eyes, because I want to explain you how it feels when you lose something. Mm-hmm. If you just close the eyes for a couple of seconds. And after you do that, just imagine in 1 second, you just lost opportunity to see at all for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. You will not ready for that. You will not prepare for that. Yeah. Just in 1 second, living your interesting life, wake up in the morning, make the coffee, prepare the children to the school, and go into your work. One time when you're driving or you're sitting at the home watching the TV or play with your children, you just close your eyes and you will stay alive. You will keep living, but without the opportunity to see. So the same which Ukraine have, they have simple, good, interesting life. In 1 second, they lost everything. Everything, but not the hope. The hope that in one time they can open those eyes and can one more time see. So it's like my simple example to explain you how do they feel, how do we feel when we lost something. Opportunity, it's not only to see, it's opportunity to hear or breathing. So it's hard to understand when you are 1,000 kilometers from the place where the people lost not only the money, houses, lives, they just sometimes lost the hopes. And if we return to the questions of education proceed, we with the US charity foundation like Kosciuszko Foundation or SOS, in Polish language it's Wioski Dziecięce. They are partners in the projects which we prepare for the children which lost those father or mothers in the war. So it's the project for military families, which we invite to Poland. We organize for them rehabilitation projects. It's 10 days staying in the safety place without air alarm, without loud noises of explosion. It's without shooting on the streets, without crying, screamings, and disasters. So it's 10 days of of paradise. in those heads and souls. It's really necessary for them, because if they live close to the front line, if you live 100 kilometers from front line, really often you hear the sound of the war. The sound of the war, it's not only the things which you feel in by your ears, it's also the sound which you can saw. You can see the ambulance which bring into the hospitals the people without arms, hands, and with really huge endurance of the bodies. You can hear the history of people who try to find a new hope for them. So we try to do our best to bring them on a safe place and show them that they can have normal, as we can say it, childhood time.
Yeah.
To spend sometimes in the normal, in their normal life. It's really hard to understand in that in one moment your children will not have opportunity to visit park or swimming on the lakes, just meet with those friends which they playing every day.
Yeah.
So we understanding that those things which we do for childrens and those families, for mothers, really often it's mothers, because a lot of militaries are men. So we understanding that our job and our work is really necessary. It's one piece of little sand in a huge desert, but if a lot of organization and charity foundation will help and bring the piece of some donation or something to help the Ukrainian citizen and children, it will be the storm of sand which will bring a lot of power and really hope. You bring hope. You bring so fast and so powerful, like the storm on the sea or in the desert. And if the person leave the hope and they sitting and just waiting the end of the life in 1 hour or 1 minute, and he don't do nothing, when he hear that something happened good not far from him, and somebody go to rescue him, to help him, to bring the new hope, he become like a, phoenix.
Phoenix.
It's the bird from the Greece anthem times, which was reborn, sorry. So those hope which coming from US, from European Union, those help which bring a lot of people, it's some kind of the same thing which you feel when you pray to the gods which you believe.
Yeah.
And you saw the miracle. So you saw the miracle when you understanding that a lot of people really glad to help you, to bring new emotion, to bring the lifestyle, new lifestyle of living, to bring food, to bring electricity, to bring medical support, to bring those soul which they just give it for free.
Yeah.
Without nothing.
Right.
Without no expectation. It's the people who are ready.
Right. No expectation for anything in return. Hope is it's powerful, and having faith that you can see on the other side of this, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that people support you, and you have that support around you, and that people are coming in, like you said, without expectations of anything in return. Looking at and how you described it about paradise, I mean, having just time away from something like that, to be a child again, to be able to do the normal things that all children should be able to hopefully do in their lives, and not have the pressures of everything that is surrounding them day in and day out right now. That's a perspective that I think many around the world should hear. And even the practice that you shared with me about closing your eyes and thinking that you might, not have something like that anymore is, that's a really unique way to look at it, for sure. And nothing's promised, but it really takes a different view when you look at it that way, for sure. Man, you got me going here. Oh, well, thank you for that, though. Because like I said, there's so much that you can read in the news. There's so much that you can imply that's happening. But when you're there on the ground working day in and day out to try and provide these experiences, it's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different meaning. And so I want to go into more of what can we be doing. Donations can provide hope. Showing up can provide hope. What can one, web show and podcast and Instagram share? What can we do to provide more support to people like you, creating these programs and providing this hope to children and families right now?
So as I start my story, that I have a lot of skills and experience which help me and bring me to the place Folkowisko. It's learn me in which way I can be useful in my situation, in my places where I am now, and using my resources which I have. Yeah. So from my resources, I'm not the rich man, but I have experience. Yeah. I have the people which I collect from the beginning of my life until now. Mm-hmm. It's really good friends, and it's also the bad people I meet in my life road, but they bring me knowledge. So I collect all those emotion and all those skills to organize the project which help the children and make the resilience for families. And also we train the trainers. We also collect the goods which come in the lorry. Mm-hmm. We have almost midnight in Poland now. Until after 2 hours, it will be lorry from the Scotland, and we also need to have the power to unload that to the warehouses, and tomorrow mm-hmm. it will be going to the place where needed. So use your skills.
Use your skills.
Everybody told that you should bring the money. You should bring the, some not jewelry, your attention. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you the first things. Can I ask you about the pray?
Yes.
It's the first things. It doesn't matter which kind of God you believe. It mm-hmm. doesn't matter which kind of religion you believe or not believe. You're thinking about the situation of Ukraine, and it's some kind of help of your neighbors. Yes, we are far from you. We are from your houses, but we suffer, and our nation screaming of Ukraine, it's so loud that everybody can hear that all around the world. Mm-hmm. So if you have some skills, you are a medic, or you are psychological worker, or you are builder or engineer, you have some free time, spend it. If you're not fear,
Afraid,
no.
fearful.
If you are not afraid, in Ukraine to help different people. The war going in the east of Ukraine. On the west of Ukraine there is the base of humanitarian aids. From last almost 600 days, we have a lot of friends from US which just come and ask, what you need? I have the hands. I don't have experience. I want to help you.
Yeah.
What I should do?
Yeah.
And they help like a medicine worker. They come into the children. They visit the hospitals. They bring those souls. The first thing is attention to the problem of your neighbors. The second one, yes, unfortunately, we need some supplies. We need goods. We need things which you have, which you have in your home, which you have in your garage. It's sleeping bags, it's tents, it's power banks, it's also the phone, just to bring the hope to the civilian people. And you should understand that the hope can go in one direction, but the different people of Ukraine, it can be the children, and it can be children food. We understanding that it's too far to bring in something, one box of food from US to Ukraine. Yes, but we understand that you can give some part of your attention and your hope to those children camps which we organize in Poland and Ukraine. You can saw the result of them. If you choose the charity foundation which can help, you can make the donation and you will saw the result immediately. So we not collect just like a bank, we just get some goods or donation and immediately give to somebody else, make the photo and video on that. We give the proof that it's working, and you make some, I don't know, some pluses on your God, which you believe.
Hope comes in many forms, is what I hear. And even down to, I love how you described your skills, your experience. And even if you don't have the money to donate, what can you share? How can you show up in so many different ways? And, whether it is volunteering time or providing prayer and thinking of however people pray, however that may be, but thinking about the people of Ukraine and what is happening in these times can provide hope in so many ways.
Perfect.
Well, you've been out ever since this experience, and again, being able to take the little life experience that I have, and being fortunate enough to meet you and people that you've worked with, and some of the teachers and students of Ukraine, has been an absolute honor. And I can only hope that in sharing this message, that more people will be inspired to do the same. And again, at least just pray, provide hope, and share, donate, provide volunteer services. I mean, whatever we can really do at this point right now. And, that was going to be a question for me for you was, what is one thing that you want more Americans and the rest of the world to know about the situation going on? And I think this entire interview encapsulated that. And I think that there's just so much that we here in America don't have that perspective of. And I hope to share that more.
First of all, I want to say thank you for U.S. American citizen and government and president, that we feel your support. And for that moment and months ago, if the Ukraine will not get the help from U.S., we will not survive. So it's the moment when you understanding that the hope come from your neighbors, which are far, far away, they bring the really powerful hope. that say that you are not alone in that war, that we understand you, and we will help you as much as we can, as much as it war will continue. So now in that interview, I don't talking about our aggressive, violent neighbors from Russia, because I don't have normal language to tell what I'm thinking about them. So I don't think, and I told, don't tell nothing about the person which I hate. I want to show that I love the person which helped my nation stay survive and bring the normal lives back. So thank you very much, the citizen. Thank you very much, US. Thank you very much, Angelica, that you do so important work for our nation. And thank you very much that you was the part of project which help Ukrainian children learn the English language. And I know that it's not only professional skills, you use it. I saw the smiles and happiness which bring you the opportunity to do something more than you can. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, they're very small and only the beginning. And I do want to ask if it is volunteering, if it is sending things aside from donations, all of that can be facilitated through the Folkowisko Foundation. If somebody's listening to this and interested in getting involved, they can reach out to the foundation.
So that if you are ready and you have opportunity to send some donation, that it can be Folkowisko. So we have a lot of ways which we help not only the citizens or children or families. We also have donation for dogs, cats, shelters, medicine, hospitals, kindergarten in German language, children, the school for little children, how it's spelled.
Preschool or kindergarten, preschool, daycare.
Yeah. So it's projects, books, not bombs. We collect the money for bring Ukrainian books for Poland or European Union to help the Ukrainian children's. Don't forget the Ukrainian language. And if you want to help somebody in different ways, if you want to help Ukraine, you can do it not only the Folkowisko, but those other charity foundations which help Ukraine in your community, in the place where you are.
Yes. And I would echo that, because even here in Raleigh, North Carolina, there's the Ukrainians of the Triangle. There's a lot of different organizations serving Ukraine and with Ukrainian communities right here in my neighborhood. So I, definitely would echo exploring what might be available to you and your community. That's great. That's good to know, because I'm sure that more people are going to want to understand how to get involved and what they can do. And we'll be out here praying for you guys as we have been. And, I hope to keep in touch and get on the other side of this. We'll have another interview about what's next and what we can do from there.